So, hi everyone, I'm Kristen Sullivan. I'm the Executive Director of the Ward Foundation, and I am excited to be here today with Ross Smoker, who is one of our 2022 to 2023 Living Legends. And I'm sure that many of you watching know Ross already. You know him from the Ward World Championship, the Chesapeake Challenge, and many other competitions throughout the country where he's taken a lot of Best of Show awards and other honors. He's also led countless classes, teaching probably literally thousands of students at this point, including yours truly. And Ross has also been a longtime volunteer with the Ward Foundation and really a tireless advocate for this craft, especially helping novice carvers as they venture into this world. So I really want to thank you, Ross, for that. And thank you for making time to talk with me today.
You're welcome.
Right. So to start off, I'm hoping you could tell me a little bit about yourself, you know, where you're from, how you got into making decoys, into wildfowl art.
Okay, I am from Selinsgrove, PA, which is central Pennsylvania. The reason, well, I got started through family. My dad carved, my brother carved, and it was just making gunning decoys to start out with, and then it branched off from there. So, you know.
All right. And who were some of your inspirations when you were younger? Was it just, you know, the birds that you're hunting, or did you have any, you know, artistic inspirations?
Well, when I started carving, you know, oh boy, that was back in the 80s. Now you're talking. So I had, you know, dad and my brother, you know, and then dad used to have Bill Vesey up to our shop. So I had Bill there. Bill actually taught me a lot on just, you know, carving in general, and then actually just gaining speed in carving, so, and accuracy a little bit. So so Bill was in the early, and then as time went on, then, you know, I've taken classes from I'm trying to think who all, you know, Mueller and Christie and my brother and Pete Palumbo, and I'm trying to think, I've carved with Tom Newell, I've carved with Steve Bertell in Maine. So I've been fortunate that I've carved with, I know I'm forgetting some, but I've been fortunate I've carved with a lot of people, you know, over the years. So, you know, it's been fun.
Pretty awesome group to be a part of there. What are some of the materials you like using, or techniques and tools, that sort of thing? What's your process like?
Well, mine, you know, of course, you know, I use a bandsaw, and then what I'll do is trim it on the band, trim, I'm talking bodies now. You know, so cut it out in the bandsaw, trim it, draw a knife, then I go to the power carver, then I go to my knives, and then I go to the sander. So that's the process through a normal duck body. You know, most shorebird bodies you can carve by hand or everything like. But a head I do cut out. I do a little bit of Fordham tool work, then all knife work after that. So that's just my process. And, you know, I think, you know, everybody should learn how to carve with a knife first before they go to that big whirling machine that cuts off a lot of wood too quick, you know, so.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. And why birds?
Why birds? Well, there's so many of them, and they're interesting, you know. You could carve something different every week and never hit the same thing twice if you wanted to go even just North America. You know, not just ducks, all kinds of birds. So, you know, just interesting to me. So,
yeah, absolutely. Do you have a favorite species to carve?
Not well. I used to, and then I've been branching out so dang much that everything's changing now. So, you know, I used to do, like, you know, North American ducks, ringneck ducks were my favorite. You know, but after being on the West Coast, I really like black brant. You know, they're fun. Now, after, you know, doing some more research, I'm liking shorebirds a little bit. So, you know, so it's just, I really don't have a favorite. Just, I like carving like a lot of different ones. So I don't do them well, but I do a lot of different ones.
I think some folks would disagree with you. You're just fine. You said you do, you know, research. What kind of research do you do when you're prepping for a carving?
Well, I mean, you know, besides the looking for all the pictures, and, you know, getting measurements and getting, like, you know, study bills and stuff like that, trying to find as much as to look at. And then also what I've been doing, and I hate to say, I just realized lately I've been talking to a lot of people, you know, just, you know, hey, what do you think about this? And and how you think this should look and stuff like it. Just and it's amazing to me the wealth of information out there that people will share once you start talking to them. So.
Oops, I just realized I had myself unmuted. Sorry. You think I know Zoom by this point, but I sure don't. So what's something that you've learned over the years that you wish that you knew when you were younger? Or you can think of it another way, maybe what would you tell a novice carver artist?
The one thing that I did for years is I didn't really look at specific areas of the birds. And when I was carving and I thought I was doing great until certain carvers told me about my chin area that I was doing. I was cutting them in and they weren't looking right. Because the one judge said, I knew that was your bird from across the room because the way the chin was cut in. So I changed that a couple of years ago and seen it actually that worked out. So that's one thing, and then just tell people to look at their research a little more. You got to sit there and study them more. I don't study. I just start whacking at I don't study in depth. I just start whacking at a piece of wood, and then I start looking. And by that time it's already too late.
Excellent, thanks. So can you tell me about a colossal failure you've had? Something that just didn't go right at all, and maybe what you learned from it, or how did you recover?
Okay, I will tell you this. I was carving my 1,000th bird.
Ooh.
Okay, so I was making a blue-footed booby for my wife. So, and she wanted feet because, they dance with their feet. Mm-hmm. What a colossal mistake that was. I don't do feet, but I had to learn. So, and they still didn't come out that great, but, I learned how to do feet and I burned a lot of feet blanks in the wood stove before I got them to where they were actually working. So,
what did you learn along the way? Was it the size, proportions? What was it that you had to learn?
It's how the feet, how the legs and stuff attach to the body, how the feet all look on that. I don't do a lot of feet. I'm not, some guys are built for that. I'm not. But I learned a lot that way. And then carving the booby, it was so big that I learned, how to work that big of a piece of wood because I usually just do ducks, so. And the other thing I would say I learned over the years is when I retired, I thought, oh, I got time to carve now, so I'm going to carve like crazy. Well, now I've learned to slow down, take your time, and do it. I'd rather do quality instead of quantity. Mm-hmm. Quantity is easy. Quality's tougher. Yep.
I have to ask though, did Sue, your wife, did she like the blue-footed booby? Where is it now?
It's upstairs. It's upstairs in our dining room. I have people over and I tell them to come look at my wife's booby.
Very good. So, all right, moving away from that. What's your favorite part about carving competitions?
Oh, the camaraderie. Definitely. Talking to people, seeing everybody, exchanging ideas, the whole works. Especially like the worlds, because there's, when I go to the worlds, there's a lot of people, that's the only time I ever see them, so you get to see them, see how things are going at home and how things are going in carving. And so that's just how it is. That's the best thing, I would say.
We absolutely missed that.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, when I look at it, I'm small town central PA, I go to the worlds. I've been through carving, I have friends all over the country. Mm-hmm. And I've got to go into Washington State hunting a couple of times and crabbing, and I got to go to Upper Maine. I get to go down to Maryland, Virginia, and that's all to see friends through carving. That's cool. We had the conversation the other night. What would I be doing if I wasn't carving? Mm-hmm. Boy, you want to think about something, think about that, because I spend so much time doing it. So, but.
Well, we're glad you carve.
Well, so are a lot of other people. My wife included, because she knows where I'm at. So.
So how long have you been coming to Worlds?
I have missed 2 Worlds since the late 70s.
Wow.
Yeah, one was One was when I was sick, and the other one was I was in high school, and I'd rather stay home when mom and dad were away.
Yeah.
You get my drift. So yeah, since the 70s I've been
Wow. Okay, so longer than I've been born.
coming.
Just to remind you.
Well, thank you.
I was born in 79. Anyway, and I think you touched on this a little bit, but what role does the carving community play for you? It sounds like there's friendships and
Oh yeah,
and-
it's all friendships. It's all exchanging ideas and knowledge. It's getting to talk to people from other parts of the country, and see how they're living and how they're when you make gunning decoys, if you primarily make gunning decoys, then you talk to everybody about hunting. When you carve everything else, and you talk to everything about everything else, if you understand what I mean.
Yep, yep.
Yeah. When you do a mixture of everything, then you get to talk to everybody.
Yeah.
So and it works out, but it's mostly friendships throughout the country. So, and like I said, small town Pennsylvania. Where in heck who in heck am I going to see here? You know, Rich moved.
Let's see here. Do you have a favorite piece that you've made and why?
And well, I don't know. I made a flying raven one time out of walnut for the interpretive. That I really liked. I made a standing crow for the interpretive one time. That I really liked. So stuff like that. Yeah, those are pretty much the ones I really, really liked.
What was it that you enjoyed about that? Or that you liked?
Well, the raven thing was all the research. I learned a heck of a lot about ravens, and it was just fun carving it because the whole design element of it and everything else. And the crow one was the same way. You had to learn how to do crow. I actually improved my carpentry skills by building a corner of a roof, so and that's it was fun. That was a good time.
That's cool. And that probably answers my next question, but maybe not. Which was, what pieces required you to really grow as an artist and into a realm that you hadn't considered before, or just maybe as a stretch for you?
Well, I know when I was carving, I entered the world shooting rig a couple times, and I always felt that I'm almost there, but then I started watching the interpretive, and I thought that I want to try. So that's what I started. I tried that a couple of times, and I'm real amazed that one of the biggest fans was Dan Burgett. Every year when I go down there, what'd you make this year? Because he's really trying to help new people along.
Yeah.
So
yep.
that was always good to hear that from him. So but yeah, interpretives are fun.
Absolutely. Dan's a great guy. 2020, 2021 living legend there. Can't forget. So get to celebrate you together, hopefully next year in Ocean City. So what do you think is the most difficult part of your process, and how do you deal with that?
Boy, I don't know. The most difficult thing would be, I don't know. I mean, finding enough research for everything, that's one thing. And actually, when you're carving, by yourself a lot, then you just think you're doing right, and then you have to get critiqued every now and then. So,
yeah.
But I think that would be the hardest thing, carving by yourself all the time.
Yeah.
A lot of guys do it, but I don't.
That makes sense. I know a lot of guys will say painting, but I know it seems like you love painting, and having taken a class from you, I know you're a great painting teacher. So
I like painting when I'm in the mood. I'll get on my shelf up here 20 projects, and then I'll just sit down and start painting. But of course, we've all been painting now for the upcoming competition. So, but
excellent. What's the most rewarding part of your process, and what do you get out of that?
I guess finishing and showing people what you've done. Here again, small town PA, people are still amazed that you can take a hunk of wood and in X amount of hours or X amount of days or whatever, come up with something that looks like a bird, and they're just amazed at that. And that's, that's rewarding to me to see the people look on people's faces when you finish something, so
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a good time.
Yeah. All right. And, as one of the three living legends this year, is there anything that you'd like to say to your mentors, peers, friends, or others who may be watching?
I just wanted to thank you for putting up with me over the years. I've asked a lot of dumbass questions. So, and just want to tell everyone, thanks for putting up with me. When I was working, I may have not been the nicest person to be around because dealing with inmates all the time, but now I'm hoping I'm getting better. So, but that's what I say. I thank everybody for just helping me along, and just keep on carving. So it's the best hobby out there, so.
Well, thank you sincerely. For me personally, as a former teacher and as somebody that's, helped make my life a little easier here at the Ward Museum, you've volunteered, I don't even know how many hours over the years, and just really been here for the foundation, for the museum, for the competition, and for so many carvers along the way. So thank you, Ross, for joining me today on Zoom, for being part of our hybrid Ward World Championship. Hopefully this is the last year we have to do this hybrid stuff.
True. Yes.
And hopefully we'll get to celebrate you next year in Ocean City. And I look forward to that party. But congratulations on being one of the 2022, 2023 Living Legends.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, Ross.